Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 10th of December 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we update on a daily basis. So I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves, guys. So before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning, there won't be any videos of Traders Espresso nor Tea Time until the 23rd of December, so I will be away. So yep, we will resume on the 23rd of December, so just to kind of keep you updated. So yep, guys. Sorry for that, but yeah, like I said, we will resume on the 23rd. But right now, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX here. Now, looking at this one, and I talked about DAX last week, where I was saying that if we get a drop below the 13,044 mark, there is a possibility we could see this one drifting lower. Of course, if we take out the psychological 13,000 level as well, there could be a possibility for a further drift down. And we did get that move. We even got a drop below the 12,955 zone here, and it drifted all the way and found support today. Found support near the 12,886 zone, from which it comfortably rebounded, and now it's pushing back above the psychological 13,000 level. So of course, for now, yes, there is a possibility for this one maybe to drift higher if it overcomes this 13,044 mark. You can see that this is where the index found very good resistance right now. It also coincides with the 100 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So let's see if the bulls have enough steam to push this one higher. But still, for us to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, or should I say upside in the short run, ideally we would like to see a push back above the 13,165 zone. So we'll keep an eye on that one, but for now, all eyes are on this little territory, because if by any chance the index closes below the 13,000 today, then there is a possibility for the sellers to drive this one lower, and a little bit lower, because still the downside could be limited due to this upside support line taken from the low of the 15th of August. So in a way, this could be this little short-term correction lower. And then if we do see a move towards this upside line, we'll take it from there. We'll reevaluate everything and we'll see what he wants to do after that. For now, keep your eyes on these two levels and let's see how this is going to play out. Nasdaq100. Now, looking at this, the Nasdaq100 was selling off this morning, but we can see that the cash index has recovered some of its losses, and actually, it's now trading roughly around the yesterday's closing price. So we'll keep an eye on that one. In a way, looking at this picture here, it's very tricky, to be honest, at this point, because it keeps on balancing up and down, and if this for some reason decides to push higher, and pushes above this little barrier right here near the 8,395 zone, then yes, we will consider slightly higher levels. We'll be very careful, because then yeah, we will aim for the high of yesterday near the 8,425-26 zone, but a push above this could lead towards a test of the all-time high, which was roughly around the 8,445 mark. So we'll keep an eye on this one. like I said, it is kind of balancing near the closing price of yesterday. So let's see if it can actually push higher. But we'll keep it short and simple. If we get a push above the 8,391.92 zone here, then yes, we will aim for slightly higher levels. We'll aim for the high of yesterday, and then above that we do have that all-time high near the 8,445. So let's keep an eye on that one. Don't get me wrong, on the cash index, we do have a higher all-time high. So but this is this is the main one. So let's see how this is going to play out. For now, will remain a little bit on the neutral side, maybe a little bit maybe cautiously bullish, but again, we need to see a push above this 8,391.92 zone before examining slightly higher levels here. In terms of the downside now, some of the levels have to be adjusted, and this is probably where we're going to target here, 8,321. A drop below this could in a way lead the index a little bit lower here. Initially, we'll aim for this little low, the low of the 5th of December near the 8,273 mark. But if that doesn't stop the slide, then the next target is the low of the 3rd of December, and or should I say the current lowest point of December near the 8,167 mark. So, but again, if we draw a few arrows, basically this is how it's going to look. So for the downside, this is the area that we need, 8,321 zone, and for the upside, we need to see a pushback above the 8,392 mark. So keep your eyes on this one. Gold. So it's pushing higher today. Yes, this is where it's interesting. I mean, if the equity markets decide to push further north today, and let's say if the cash if the index will follow the cash index, if let's say the US indices can follow the cash indices, then yes, we may see a further move north. But on the gold front here, we may see a bit of a decline here. The only thing is that I'll probably stick to the same idea here, and I'll say that for us, we're still a little bit on the neutral side. Previously, when I talked about gold, I was saying that yes, we will consider higher levels if we start pushing above the 1466 zone, but to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, a push above the 1473 level. This is what we would need to wait for, and even then, if this travels higher, still the upside could be limited due to this downside resistance line taken from the high of the from the highest point of September. So and again, like I said, we'll be very careful with the upside here. In order to consider higher levels in the medium term, well, this downside line would need to be broken first. So yes, we could target some higher levels, but we'll keep it short and simple. For now, we'll keep an eye on this 1473. If it pushes above that, then yes, we'll aim for slightly higher levels. In terms of the downside, a drop below the 1459 level, that's what we are looking here for still. And previously, when I talked about gold, I was saying that we needed to see a nice, good, clear break. We did get a few breaks, but we never even had a nice 4-hour candle close, at least a 4-hour candle. So in a way, we're waiting still for that one in order to consider slightly lower areas. And if we do see a nice good drop here below the 1459, then yes, we will aim for the 1451 or the 1445 zones initially. After that, we'll reevaluate everything again. Jumping into a few pairs now very quickly, and that's AUDJPY. Now, I talked about AUDJPY this morning, guys, and basically what I was saying here, that in order for us to consider further declines, we need to see a drop below the 73.90 zone. So we did get that drop, but we didn't even get a 4-hour candle close below this. So in a way, for now, we remain neutral. Although yes, it is kind of trading below this upside support line, but we need that confirmation close here below the 4-hour candle, or of a 4-hour candle below the 73.90 level, and only then we will target slightly lower areas. But initially, we'll only aim for the lowest point of November near the 73.34. After that, we'll see what it wants to do then, and if it wants to rebound and push back up, yep, fine with us. But like I said, for us, for now, we're just going to target this little area right here. In terms of the upside here, now Previously, I talked about the 74.54 mark, but given that it is shifting further south, in a way, we could start considering slightly higher levels if we get a push above the 74.27 mark, 28 zone here, which is the high of yesterday, and then, yep, we will aim for the 74.54, and of course, if that fails to withhold, then yep, slight towards these slightly higher levels. This is what we're going to be aiming for, the 74.85, and then we'll take it from there. See what he wants to do after, but you know, like I said, let's keep it short and simple. For now, like I said, yep, we will keep an eye on this barrier, keep an eye on this support zone near the 73.90. If we do get that close here below, then yes, we will aim for slightly lower areas. If we don't, then keep your eyes on the 74. Keep an eye on the 74.28 zone. So apologies for that, guys. Now, for now, let's like I said, let's see how this is going to play out. Keep your eyes on the support level, and for now, we'll probably remain neutral on this one. NZDCHF. Now, looking at this picture, and this is what I talked about this morning, basically, where I was saying that keep an eye on this upside support line. So we did get a nice strong break here, lower, but as you can see, the bulls are really fighting it hard to kind of or should I say, the bulls are really fighting it strongly to push it back above this upside line. So in a way, keep your eyes on the daily candle today. If we do get a close above this, then still the bulls have a chance to push this one back up. The only thing is that at this point here, given that it already violated this upside line again and kind of continues to balance around it, probably just to be on the safe side, in order to consider higher levels, ideally probably wait for a push above the high of yesterday near the 0.64 just one moment, 0.6487 mark. And then, yep, we will aim for higher levels here, and then we'll aim for the current highest point of December near the 0.6515, and then we'll take it from there. But again, for now, it's a bit of a tricky one here. Probably like I said, the only suggestion here is to keep an eye on this upside line, and to keep an eye on the daily candle, see how it performs around this upside line. If it drifts lower, and if let's say we do get a nice close below this upside line, then well, of course, it increases the chances of a further drift lower towards these lows here. Should I say the current lows of December, near the 0.6420 and the 0.6408 mark here. Probably or should I say the 0.6409 mark, roughly around there. So this is probably the more important level to watch, because that's the current low of December. And if we do get a nice close below this upside line, then yep, we will consider a possible slide here towards this level here near the 0.6409 level. And then if it wants to break lower, then well, I mean, this could be opening the path for more downside, and more sellers could be taking this as a nice opportunity to join in. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on this. It's a very interesting pair. Let's see how this daily candle today is going to close. GBPNZD. Now, I talked about this pair this morning as well, basically, and what I was saying, that to keep an eye on this triangle pattern here, and basically what we've got ourselves here is we did get a nice break through the upper bound of the triangle, or in other words, through this downside resistance line here. So we got a nice break through it. We did get a violation of the 2.0156 level I talked about this morning, but again, you can see that the bears really are really fighting it hard and really strongly pushing this one back down here. Of course, there's a big battle right now happening between the bulls and the bears. If we do get a nice close here today above the 2.0156, now this is where we will consider a possible move higher towards levels like the high of 19th of November near the 2.0297, or a further push north here towards the 2.0330. So again, basically, long story short, guys, we just need to wait for a nice good close above this level, at least of a 4-hour candle, and then we could consider a further move higher here. But for now, we can see that the bears are trying to push this one back down. Let's see if they can manage to do that. If they cannot, or should I say, if they can manage to push below this, if the bears manage to push below this downside resistance line, and we see a close below this downside resistance line, then, well, I mean, this could lead towards a bit of declines here, a bit of a correction here, because we're still above this little short-term upside support line. But in order to get a little bit more comfortable with further declines, a drop below the low of yesterday, near the or should I say, near the psychological 2 level is required. So we'll wait for a break below the psychological 2 zone before considering slightly lower areas. For now, the bulls seem to have a bit more chances to push this one higher, but we need that nice good close above this 2.0156 level. And the last pair for this session is going to be the euro dollar. Now, this is what I talked about this morning. Basically, this morning we were still hanging around here between these two levels, between the 1.1054 and the 1.1078 zone. What I was saying, that we needed to see a nice good break here, either through the 1.1078 or a drop below the 1.1054 zone. So we got to push through the upper side here. The big question: can the bulls maintain the rate above this level? If they can, then there's a good possibility for this one to drift back up here towards these highs that we saw here recently, and move towards the current highest point of December, near the 1.1116. So for now, yes, there is a bit more chance for this one to drift further north, especially if the pair stays today above this 1.1078 mark. If it doesn't, if it drops back inside this little kind of we cannot really call it a range, but into this little territory right here, then we'll remain neutral, because for us to consider slightly lower areas, we need to see a drop below the 1.1054, and then we will aim for these slightly lower areas. If these areas fail to withhold it, then, well, further declines are possible. But again, for now, we'll just keep it short and simple. It's leaning more towards the upside for now. Yes, we are kind of also leaning more towards the upside. The only thing is that in this situation here, if you are looking for something maybe to try and target these areas, then, well, I mean, having a tight stop loss would really help you out here, because just in case this suddenly reverses back down and breaks, let's say, the today's pivot here, then, well, I mean, this could turn out to be ugly for euro dollar. So, and for those longs, so that's why, guys, for now, be very careful. Yes, there is a possibility for this one, a good possibility actually, to move higher, because it's above this 1.1078 zone, this key resistance level, the level that we were keeping an eye on. But we will have a very tight stop loss just in case this suddenly reverses back down. So keep your eyes on this one. We do have an interesting week this week, but unfortunately I won't be able to cover that. Like I said, we will resume with the videos with the Traders Espresso and Tea Time on the 23rd of December. So yep, hopefully, guys, everything goes well for you during that time, and I hope you have a wonderful period, guys. Wonderful time, wonderful trading sessions, and I'll see you on the 23rd of December. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye.